Good evening. We do have a member of the Ministerial Alliance here with us this evening. Pastor Pete, would you come up and pray?
Father, we just want to thank you for this beautiful day. We thank you for this fine group and all they represent, different groups in the community. And we ask that you would bless them as they conduct the business. And I know that a lot goes on besides what we see here in the meeting and things they have to accomplish and decisions they make. And we just ask that you just bless them in all those decisions. And we ask that you would bless our community, and we appreciate this peaceful place you give us to live. And we love you and pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I call the July 18th, 2022 Board of Aldermen meeting to order. City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Jim Shrout.
Here.
Jeremy Taylor.
Here.
Kelly Netto.
Here.
Brandy Carroll. Brad Alexander.
Present.
And Mayor Dana Webb.
Here, thank you. The next item on the agenda is new business, deletions, or continuances. We do not have any of those, so the next item would be public comments. We have one person for public comments. We have Cheryl Parson. Cheryl, if you'd like to walk up to the microphone and then state your name and your address, and then Kim explained to you how public comments work, correct? Okay, great.
My name is Cheryl Parson. I live at 701 South Salem, apartment B5.
Thank you. And what is your public comment this evening, Cheryl?
Well, I've been here since November, and I've been this way my whole life. I just see stuff, I clean it. I'm a clean freak, whatever you want to call it. And, I've had recent, like when I have to walk everywhere, so I don't mind it, and I love it, and I love cleaning. But lately, when I walk through town, I'm finding alcohol bottles and just nasty stuff. And when I pick it up and I go take my walk at the school or anywhere I go back and they have taken the bags out and trashed it all the way down the street again. And it was about 4 months ago, this girl in a car said, "You're wasting your time, we like it trashy." And I don't know who she is, but, it's kind of hard. And so I just one day I was walking and I asked one of the men, that there was a mattress thrown out that works for the public, And I asked him, "Do you do that?" He goes, "No, we don't pick up trash. We don't do nothing." And I said, "Do you know who does?" And he said, "You need to ask the people who do the Parks and Recreation." So I called to get the mattress because I can't carry it, and it wasn't mine. And I reported it, was all. And I told another person, I said, "You men drive by it every day, why don't you lend a hand in town and pick it up?" And he got mad at me. We have more important things to do, like drive up and down the street and harass me. That's what they do. And, that's become a problem with the men down there. I'm thankful that Walmart, I reported it at the Dollar Tree and Walmart, and they do help us with the men trying to pick up the women while we're trying to, while they sit down there. But, I know you all can't sit down there and babysit. I understand. So
Right.
I just wanted to bring those concerns to you because we don't like it. And, I have yelled at a few of them because I'm tired of their behavior. And that's hard. I don't want to be like that.
Right. Cheryl, I thank you for doing your public comments tonight. Just a minute before you leave. So as far as Public Works, Tom is over there, if he'll raise his hand. That's who you would contact or email if you have any concerns about Public Works.
Okay.
If you have any issues about harassment or anything, that would be something, that would be the police department, and you have two of them here tonight. Their information is on our city website, if you need to call them or anything. And then,
I don't have a computer.
okay, we can write it down for you, or you can call City Hall or stop by, and they can give that to you.
Okay.
Tom might be able to help me a little bit, just I want to speak to what you said about trash. Our guys would pick up trash that might be in a park or in the city streets or something like that, but sometimes when you see mattresses in people's yards, that's private property, so we wouldn't pick that
It
up.
was down towards Walmart where it's a vacant.
So it'd be someone owns that property, and we couldn't go onto that property without permission,
Oh, okay.
so, yeah. But I understand, it's a nuisance, I get it, so, thank you.
If I had a truck and a friend, I would surely help,
Right.
know, but I can't. So
And then I see that you left us, Kim said that you have wrote out several prayers for our city and for our country.
Yes.
I'm going to give these to Kim, and then the board, if they want to have copies of them, or anyone else, they
That
can
would be
stop by and get
nice.
copies, okay?
That's for everybody.
Yeah,
I've been going everywhere and sharing the word.
Thank
of
you.
what I believe would be nice to help each other in the community. That's all.
thank you.
I
Appreciate your
want us
time.
to work together.
Yes, I agree.
In truth, not lies and scheming and stupidity.
Right.
That's where I'm at.
Thank you, Cheryl, and welcome to Oak Grove. A little bit late, you got here in November, but welcome.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is a consent agenda. These items are designated for one motion by the board. Tonight, we have approval of the July 5th, 2022 Board of Aldermen meeting minutes, expenditures through July 14th, 2022, June 2022 financial statement, and the semi-annual summary of cash and fund balance for publication.
Motion to approve.
Second?
I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. The next item on the agenda is unfinished business. We do not have any of that this evening, so we will move on to new business. Our first item is discussion, consideration, and possible action for a bill number 22-13 regarding an ordinance approving an MOU with the City of Buckner, Missouri for the Animal Shelter Services and authorizing the mayor to execute the MOU. Mr. Randall?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So before the board tonight is a memorandum of understanding or an MOU with the City of Buckner for the City of Oak Grove to provide animal shelter services to them. If space is available, and that is key, if space is available at our animal shelter, then the city would house, the city being Oak Grove, would house animals picked up or delivered by Buckner staff. So it would have to be picked up or delivered by Buckner PD or staff at Buckner. We wouldn't take animals directly from residents of Buckner. The city would then collect fees in accordance with the attached fee schedule, including any time spent by an Oak Grove Animal Control officer. In addition, the city of Buckner will be charged an 8% admin fee for the processing of those invoices and other such activities that may occur along with this MOU. So the fee schedule that Buckner would be required to pay for any animal that is delivered, the shelter and feeding for the initial day would be $75. Each day thereafter would be $25. If the Buckner has an owner surrender fee or an animal, that fee would be $75. Any bite animal that we may take would be an additional $50. If need be, euthanasia fee would be $100. And if they happen to bring an animal that needs to be disposed of, that would be $15. Then any veterinarian services that would be required for an animal that would be picked up would be actual cost of that veterinary service. And then if we, again, have time and capacity and they request animal services to go help with, say, a dangerous dog or a dog that they may need help with, that would be $25 an hour for that officer's time. These fees would more than cover our costs, direct cost for the city. And again, that 8% admin fee would help with the processing and invoices and all of that. Buckner would be required to pay us every 30 days. And like I said, the key component is that we can always deny taking any animals if staff time or shelter space is not available. And then if for whatever reason, the city of Buckner or the city of Oak Grove finds that this agreement just isn't working, it can be terminated with 60 days notice from either party. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions that the board may have.
Thank you, Matt.
I do have a question, and this just kind of popped into my mind. The animal service officer time, 25 per hour, is there any way that they would get out to Buckner and take care of something and get back in less than an hour? Like, is it going to be prorated, or do you think it'll always be over an hour?
I would imagine it would always be over an hour, but yeah, we would if it was like an hour and a half, we would charge them for an hour and a half
Okay.
time. Yep.
Okay, perfect.
Yep. And then if for whatever reason those fees are no longer appropriate or no longer cover our costs, then this board can always adjust that fee schedule.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Does the board have any other questions?
Well, is this the only city that we have this animal shelter deal with, Buckner?
Yes, yeah, currently. And the proposed MOU here would also be used as a template if it works out for other cities. In the past, as we've opened our animal shelter and other cities have been aware that we've opened it, I have been contacted by the city of Lone Jack as well as the city of Bates City for services. But once we got into further discussion about our cost recovery, they seemed to be less interested at that time.
Okay.
But yes, this is the only city that we currently have an agreement with, and really only city that currently there's an agreement that we're trying to work towards.
Okay.
Will all future cities that want a partnership with us and are in agreement with this term, will they all come to us for approval before partnership, or will that decision-making lie with you guys?
No, all other cities would have to come. This
Okay.
would be strictly just for the city of Buckner.
Okay, perfect.
And certainly if, as we get into it and we go through the MOU, if it's approved, like I said, there could be 60 days notice for any changes as well. So, if there's something in there that needs to be changed, or we learn, oh, man, this is something we didn't think about, that needs to be added, certainly it could be added to this agreement or any future agreements. But yes, any other city would have to come to this board to be approved.
Perfect, thank you so much. I move for first and second reading by title only of bill number, 22-13.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the first and second reading of the proposed ordinance or proposed bill for 22-13. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. City Clerk, would you please read the full title of the bill 2 times?
An ordinance approving a memorandum of understanding with the city of Buckner, Missouri for animal shelter services and authorizing the mayor to execute the memorandum of understanding. An ordinance approving a memorandum of understanding with the city of Buckner, Missouri for animal shelter services and authorizing the mayor to execute the memorandum of understanding.
I move for adoption of bill number 22-13.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the adoption of the bill number 22-13. Any discussion? If not, City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Jim Shrout,
Yes.
Jeremy Taylor,
Yes.
Kelly Netto,
Yes.
Brad Alexander.
Yes.
The motion is approved and ordinance number 2038 is adopted. The next item on the agenda is discussion, consideration, and possible action for Bill Number 2214 regarding an ordinance approving an MOU with Eastern Jackson County Youth Court and authorizing the Chief of Police to execute the MOU. Chief?
Thank you, Mayor and Board. Tonight, I am seeking your approval to sign the 2023 MOU with the Eastern Jackson County Youth Court. This is a very important program in juvenile prevention. Youth court is a peer court which works at restorative justice, and the fact that they are sent there for both status offenses, which are going to be those things just because of age, being beyond parental control, curfew, runaway, truancy, and also delinquent offenses, which are going to be the plethora of what any person, whether that be possession, stealing, having cigarettes in possession and such. Youth court allows them that ability to address the charges without getting them into the criminal justice system or the family court system, which is much more drawn out. And truly, in Jackson County itself, is much more relegated to the very serious offenses. So the Eastern Jackson County Youth Court is a very important process for restorative justice. It's been around for 25 years, and we're just one of 7 agencies that uses it. It's a great program where they are judged by their peers. Seniors are attorneys, seniors are judges, juniors are usually attorneys, and then the younger grades are learning in the process of being court bailiffs and other positions within the court. Their cases are heard in front of this youth court, and it's only the offender and the youth court in the room at the time. So it is protective of the juvenile status of the offender, and they run a very tight ship there. So I'm just seeking your approval so that we can continue using this for the resources of the youth in the community.
Would it be here?
No, it
So it'll
is,
still go to Green Valley?
Yes.
Or Blue
Yeah.
Springs? Okay. Is there a possibility that it could ever be here?
I don't honestly know if I could answer that. We could certainly inquire,
Okay,
but I don't know at this point.
okay, thank you.
I move for the first and second reading by title only of Bill 2214.
Second?
We have a motion and a second for the first and second reading of the proposed bill by title only of the bill number 22-14. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. City Clerk, would you please read the full title of the bill 2 times?
An ordinance approving a memorandum of understanding with the Eastern Jackson County Youth Court and authorizing the Chief of Police to execute the memorandum of understanding. An ordinance approving a memorandum of understanding with the Eastern Jackson County Youth Court and authorizing the Chief of Police to execute the memorandum of understanding.
I move for adoption of Bill 2214.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the adoption of bill number 22-14. Any discussion? City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Jim Shrout,
Yes.
Jeremy Taylor,
Yes.
Kelly Netto,
Yes.
Brad Alexander.
Yes.
The motion is approved, and ordinance number 2039 is adopted. The next item on the agenda is discussion, consideration, and possible action for Bill number 2215 regarding an ordinance granting an extension of the preliminary plat approval for Oaks of Edgewood Phases 13 through 20, lots 397 through 414, 417 through 425, 435 through 488, and 495 through 608 under certain conditions. Matt?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So this agenda and actually the next agenda item are both extensions of a preliminary plat. So the developer applicant has requested this extension under our code. The process for approval of a preliminary plat, that plat goes to the Planning and Zoning Commission. Upon their approval, the preliminary plat is valid for 2 years. At such time, the developer would be required to either request an extension of that preliminary plat or submit a final plat for approval. So the applicant has requested an extension of the first plat, which was Oaks of Edgewood 13 through 20 preliminary plat. That was approved by the Planning Commission on July 21st of 2020, so it would expire July 21st of this year. They're requesting a 2-year extension, which would make that preliminary plat valid through July 1st, or July 21st of 2024. Preliminary plat extensions can only keep the exact same preliminary plat. You can't adjust a preliminary plat from the original that was approved. The applicant in their letter is requesting the extension due to ongoing negotiations with Public Water District number 17 regarding water services. So because of that, the certain conditions in the ordinance would be that no building permits would be issued until the developer and Public Water System District number 17 reach an agreement to furnish necessary utilities for the development, and the applicant has applied for and been granted final plat approval. Just to clarify, both for the board and for the applicant, that this preliminary plat extension does not grant them the right to subdivide or issue building permits. This is simply an extension of the existing preliminary plat for an additional 2 years. So if the board has any questions about that, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Matt. Does the board have any questions?
I
I
move
do,
for the
but-
first and second reading by title only of bill number
You
2215.
have during any discussion to ask.
I know, it's fine.
You can still ask a question
Yep.
if somebody seconds it.
So,
Second.
but, yep, okay. So we have a motion and a second for the first and second reading of the proposed bill number 2215. Any discussion? Kelly, nothing?
Okay, I am going to ask a question, sorry. And I don't know if this is a silly question, I'm not a builder, but is there any, like, drawback to extending this? Like, does it, any negative, any cons that go with extending this for the city?
Not particularly.
Okay.
You know, and in this instance, without having an agreement between the developer and the district, both of these preliminary plats are not in our water district, so we would not serve them water. And so part of our preliminary planning process requires that the developer has shown that they can furnish all the necessary utilities, water, sewer, electrical, right? And so in this instance, they would not be able to show that without an agreement with the district to furnish water. So there's not really any downside, I suppose, to extending it. If a preliminary plat does expire, then it is as if it never existed. So a developer and applicant would have to come back in, reapply for a preliminary plat, and go back to planning and zoning and get reapproval, which would grant them another 2 years at that point.
Okay. Thank you, no further questions.
Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. City Clerk, would you please read the full title of the bill 2 times?
An ordinance granting an extension of preliminary plat approval for Oaks of Edgewood Phases 13 through 20, lots 397 through 414, 417 through 425, 439 through 488, and 495 through 608 under certain conditions. An ordinance granting an extension of preliminary plat approval for Oaks of Edgewood Phases 13 through 20, lots 397 through 414, 417 through 425, 439 through 488, and 495 through 608 under certain conditions.
I move for adoption of bill 2215.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the adoption of the bill 2215. Any discussion? City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Jim Shrout,
Yes.
Jeremy Taylor,
Yes.
Kelly Netto,
Yes.
Brad Alexander.
Yes.
The motion is approved, and the ordinance number 2040 is approved. The next item on the agenda is discussion, consideration, and possible action for Bill Number 2216 regarding an ordinance granting extension for preliminary plat approval for Edgewood Villas, Phase 2, lots 1 through 26, under certain conditions. Matt?
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, this is the same situation as the prior agenda item. This plat was approved by the Planning Commission September 15th of 2020, so it would expire September of this year. Again, the applicant is requesting a 2-year extension on top of that, so this preliminary plat would be valid through September 15th of 2024, again, for the same reasons of ongoing negotiations between the developer and the water district. Same conditions, under certain conditions, apply to this one as well, that no building permit would be issued until they reach an agreement, as well as a final plat being applied for and granted. Thank you.
So on this one, I know that we won't issue building permits. I know Kelly asked that question, but I guess given the circumstances with the amount of significant infrastructure work that they've already done there, is there any reason for other consideration on that? From the standpoint, I mean, I guess we'll still have, they'll still have to have all that approved, right, before they can move forward?
Right. So the preliminary plat, or the final plat, would still have to be approved, go to Planning Commission as well as this board for it to be recorded, and that would record all of the public right-of-way and the easements that would be needed, as well as once at the county, then it would be recorded so they could, subdivide and actually sell lots at that point for development. So it's a bit redundant to put in here no building permits, but just wanted to be clear, because without a final plat, they wouldn't be issued. But yes, Edgewood Villas Phase 2, the developer has started doing a lot of construction activities. They had this preliminary plat approved, almost 2 years ago now at this point. They've applied for some civil infrastructure plans, and we've approved those plans at an at-risk basis, knowing that they've been in negotiations with the water district. So really at this time, it's incumbent on the developer to get access or to reach an agreement with the water district to access necessary or to furnish necessary water utilities. But if it were to expire, for instance, then they could come back, apply for another preliminary plat, as long as they meet all of our general requirements. Planning Commission would then go, would review those, likely recommend approval again, and so, we'd probably still be in the same situation, whether or not it's granted an extension or reapplication.
Could they annex into Oak Grove's water district, or no?
They could, if they reach an agreement with the district. So by law, we're not able to provide them water.
Okay.
The water district would have to agree to a detachment. So ultimately, it would be an agreement between us, the developer, and the water district.
Okay. I move for first and second reading by title only of Bill number 22-16.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the first and second reading of proposed bill number 22-16. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. City Clerk, would you please read the full title of the bill 2 times?
An ordinance granting an extension of preliminary plat approval for Edgewood Villas 2, lots 1 through 26, under certain conditions. An ordinance granting an extension of preliminary plat approval for Edgewood Villas 2, lots 1 through 26, under certain conditions.
I move for adoption of Bill number 22-16.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the adoption of bill number 2216. Any discussion? City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Jim Shrout,
Yes.
Jeremy Taylor,
Yes.
Kelly Netto,
Yes.
Brad Alexander.
Yes.
The motion is approved, and ordinance number 2041 is adopted, excuse me. The next item on the agenda is discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding a site plan and design review for pavement construction of additional to existing impervious lot located at the northern portion of a site at 509 North Broadway, Oak Grove Rental, applicant Willie Hay. Matt, you again?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So Willie Hay, the applicant on behalf of Oak Grove Rental, is requested a site design plan review for the paving of additional space inside of an enclosed fenced area for the purpose of rental and equipment rental storage. The total site is roughly 3.5 acres. The additional paved area will increase by approximately 36,000 square feet. The original site covered approximately 1.4 acres. So the project is to concrete over the proposed new area in the next 6 months to a year. Based on our code, an approved site plan is valid for 1 year. So an applicant would need to conduct their improvements or get issued a building permit within 1 year. The Planning and Zoning Commission has reviewed the site plan and does recommend approval. The site plan in your packet shows the widening of the drive along Broadway. That would be required to go through MoDOT. A sidewalk addition going north, as well as the new paved areas. In addition, the applicant has submitted plans for stormwater detention based on the additional impervious surface, as well as added landscaping for a buffer zone for the R2 district to their east. So with that, staff would recommend approval of the site design plan review as recommended by the Planning Commission. I believe the applicant, Willie Hay, as well as the owner, Trevor Harris, are also here in attendance if the board has any questions for them. Thank you.
Thank you. the board have any questions for city staff or the applicant?
Motion to approve?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the site plan and design review for 509 North Broadway, Oak Grove Rental, applicant Willie Hay. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. The next item on the agenda is discussion, consideration, and possible action for Bill Number 2217 regarding an ordinance approving the engagement of special legal counsel for disclosure and compliance services for municipal securities issued by the city. Matt?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So this ordinance is to renew our agreement with Gilmore and Bell for disclosure compliance services. So the purpose of this is to assist the city in meeting our continuing disclosure obligations in accordance with federal securities. The agreement is a 5-year agreement, and it is $1,500 a year.
I move for first and second reading by title only of Bill Number 22-17.
Second. Oh,
We have a motion and 2 seconds for the first and second reading of the proposed bill number 2217 by title only. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. City Clerk, would you please read the full title of the bill 2 times?
An ordinance approving the engagement of special legal counsel for disclosure compliance services for municipal securities issued by the city. An ordinance approving the engagement of special legal counsel for disclosure compliance services for municipal securities issued by the city.
Sorry, I forgot where I was. I move for adoption of Bill Number 22-17.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the adoption of the bill number 22-17. Any discussion? City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Jim Shrout,
Yes.
Jeremy Taylor, Kelly Netto,
Yes.
Brad Alexander.
Yes.
The motion is approved and ordinance number 2042 is adopted. The next item on the agenda is discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding a resolution amending the comprehensive plan for the city of Oak Grove. Matt, it's your night tonight.
It's been Tom's the last several. So
Yeah.
Tom gets a break tonight.
Yes, Mayor, so the attached resolution to your packet would be to amend the compensation plan for the city of Oak Grove to reflect a 5.5%, 5.5% cost of living adjustment or COLA adjustment for the first payroll in August for all employees in the city of Oak Grove. As you all are probably aware, this year, inflation has been quite high. Cost of living has continued to increase. And in fact, I think the most recent numbers, year over year, is now, 9.1% increase in inflation. And so certainly that's put a pressure both on our employees as well as on our ability to attract and retain employees. So the proposal in front of you would be for that 5.5%. On an annual basis, that equates to about $140,000 in increased cost to the city. For the remainder of this fiscal year, that would be about $60,000. The proposal would be to utilize ARPA funds for that purpose. Our ability to use ARPA funds for the pandemic to attract and retain our employees. And we do have capacity left in our ARPA funds. Just to refresh everybody's memories, we received about $1.68 million from the federal government from the American Rescue Plan Act. Thus far, the board has approved just about $1 million in outlay out of ARPA funds, leaving us with $680,000 left for future allocation. If you consider the remainder of this year plus next year, that would leave us with $450,000 left for future allocations that the board could decide on at a later date. One thing I would add, it is 5.5% across the board. The only exception to that would be our first level of compensation. It is slightly higher than that to reflect Missouri's minimum wage for this year at $11.15. As a public entity, we're not necessarily required to meet minimum wage, but in order to be competitive, this would include our step one being at least at $11.15. Next year is the last year of the state's increase to minimum wage. It increases another 85 cents, so next year's minimum wage across the state of Missouri is $12. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any question the board may have.
Matt, would you also explain that it doesn't quite get us to the competitive level of other surrounding cities?
Yeah. So we this will certainly help, right? And everyone would certainly very much appreciate the increase. But Mary, yes, you're right. We are less than other surrounding communities, and particularly in a couple of areas. Starting pay for patrol officers and as well as maintenance workers.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Well, I think employees are one of our strongest assets, so we have to do everything we can do to keep them. I make a motion to approve the resolution.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the resolution. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. The next item on the agenda is discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding a request from McDermott, Will, and Emery on behalf of TA Operating LLC Petro Shopping Centers for multiple liquor license to include liquor to sell on Monday through Sunday, and original package. The store is located at 301 Southwest First Street, Oak Grove, Missouri. Is that you? Oh, that's Kim.
Okay. Yes, I received a request from McDermott, Will, and Emery on behalf of the TA Operating. They're doing business as Petro Stopping Centers for multiple liquor licenses. They've purchased 301 Southwest First Street, and they are intending on opening a restaurant. They are requesting liquor by the drink, and then they are also opening a convenience store, and that would be liquor in original package. And they are requesting Monday through Sunday for all four of those licenses.
Thank you, Kim. Does the board have any questions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the liquor license for the TA Operating Petro Centers for multiple liquor license. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. The last item on the agenda was supposed to be Alderwoman Carroll would have been here tonight for her last meeting. She is sick tonight. She would have been presented, if she's watching online, she would have been presented with her service plaque for all of you, if you're watching online. And then she has a proclamation that she would have been presented. Can't get that off of there. Just as Kim did, as you guys can see. And then she will get her service coin as well. So she's going to come by and pick all of this up whenever she feels better, but this is her last meeting, so we wish her well and thank you for her service.
Here, here.
There you go. Now we'll give her a round of applause. Thank you for watching online. Next item on the agenda would be information reports. Matt, do you have anything?
No, thank you, Mayor.
Didn't know if you wanted to continue talking. Chris?
No report, Mayor.
Mark?
No report, Mayor.
Chief?
Oh, ruining it. We're on
Yeah.
a roll.
We're on a roll. We are finalizing the plans now, but I just want to get out in front of it that September 2nd, we will be hosting a blood drive with the Red Cross. We'll be doing so here in the basement, and we'll run that from about 11 to 3 that day. That's the Friday before Labor Day, so we're doing a little bit earlier in the day to try to get as many people here as we can for that 4-hour period. It's been since about 2016 since we've hosted a blood drive, and so I thought it'd be a good thing with everything moving back. We need to start doing this again, so just want to
What
let
was
you
the
know.
date again?
September 2nd.
Okay. Thank you. Tom?
No report.
Kim?
Just quickly, the food trucks will be here Thursday at 4:30 for Third Thursday Food Truck Night.
Yeah.
And just, again, it was nice working with Brandy, and she'll be missed, and best of luck to her in her future endeavors.
Thank you, Kim. Scott?
No report.
Kelly?
Actually, I don't think I have anything, which makes me sad, except for thank you, Brandy, for your service. And like Kim said, good luck.
Jim?
No report.
Jeremy?
No report.
Oh my gosh.
In light of our short number on the board, I reached out to Hank Melhorn. He said he would be willing to fill the unexpired term, so we would have an extra body. Because we're down to the minimum, and I can't always promise my ability to be here. So he said if we wanted, he would fill the unexpired term. He didn't know if he was running again when it expires, but if we need a body to keep us going, he's willing to do it. That's all I have.
Okay. I report for thanking Brandy again for her service and her time and wish her the best. And then also thank Maureen and Emily for taking us on the tour tonight. It was great. They're not here. They've already left. It was great to see the animal shelter and what they're doing over there. And then, let's see, I think there was possibly, I'm going to recommend for city staff to bring back the holiday thing again. I think there was some misunderstanding of exactly what you were requesting, so maybe different verbiage on it so we can understand, because I truly believe that city staff should get all federal holidays off. The board can vote it down again or maybe ask more questions, but it seems like there wasn't a clear understanding of it. So if you'd bring that back at a later date. The last thing I have is August 17th. We are going to do our first ever joint meeting with the school board. We are going to start having meetings together with the school board and the Board of Aldermen and Women. And so we will host the first one on August 16th. And so we're pretty excited about that. That's all I have.
Motion adjourned.
Second?
Have a motion and a second to adjourn. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. We are adjourned.